Jio and BP for giving a startup like BluSmart an opportunity to partner with them. I think we are absolutely delighted. And the biggest learning while we were getting into this relationship was keep ambitions high. And I think that's what we are most proud of, that now we have a partner who can scale. Every startup has great ambitions, and with a partner like Jio and BP, we can scale up our ambitions to as high as what we would want to.
But what is it that BluSmart will do with Reliance, Jio and BP?
So we're going to set up a lot of charging stations across the country. BluSmart operates a large ride-hailing business, and we are expanding our ride-hailing business multifold. While we are expanding the ride-hail business multifold, there is a requirement of setting up charging stations, both for ourselves and for the public at large. So Jio-BP partnership with BluSmart will help us enable to set up charging stations for ourselves as well as for the common public.
Now, when we talk about EV and the adoption, there are two big factors that I don't want to call it roadblocks and all, but speed bumps. Let's call it speed bumps, right? And use an analogy from Motown. One is the price, and the second is the infrastructure. A lot of this is, of course, chicken and egg situation. But are you seeing, at least in the last 1 year, because to an observer it does seem like that, the infrastructure is picking up? You're seeing more players wanting to come in as far as charging stations go?
Absolutely, ma'am. When BluSmart started 2 years back, I think we were maybe a handful of us were trying to develop both the charging infrastructure and the fleet together. But now we see as the unit economics of electric mobility is becoming more and more robust, people are getting more and more conscious about electric mobility. We see a lot of players getting into the market, which is great for the ecosystem. In fact, all of us have a very large challenge. It's taken the oil and gas companies to build something where we are about 75 years. We have to complete it in less than 10 years, so that by the end of this decade, most of India runs on electric mobility.
So tell us more about BluSmart, and how did the conversation with Reliance, Jio and BP begin?
BluSmart, like I mentioned, runs electric cars in the roads of Delhi NCR. And I think I actually have to say this, that it all started through LinkedIn. One of the senior colleagues at Jio-BP, they reached out and we had a great fruitful conversation. It's taken about 6-7 months for this partnership to fructify, and we will. It's all happened during the course of COVID, and actually we all of us just met once in person, and rest everything happened on Zoom calls to close this relationship.
And going forward, this partnership, I guess, will give you a lot more visibility pan-India now?
Yes, the relationship is for pan-India.
Will Jio and BP put money into your startup? Will they be investing and taking equity in BluSmart?
No, there are no such conversations with Jio and BP for such equity raise. I think BluSmart is very adequately capitalized, and we are doing very well for ourselves. I think we needed a great, if I can use the word elder brother like Reliance Industries and BP to partner with, so that we could scale up our ambitions, and we have that. So we are very happy with this relationship. I don't think we are on a lookout for equity as of now.
Fair point. So tell me, what are the plans ahead for BluSmart now that if you're going to go pan-India? You're saying you're well capitalized, but we are also in the era of excessive liquidity. Will you be going in for a fundraise?
Yeah, I think it's a great time to be for any startup, and if you are in one of the spaces like which are running hot like electric mobility, it's a great place to be, and we are surely have a couple of offers on our table, and we will surely evaluate them, but nothing to say that we would immediately want to do some fundraise. I think the more focus is to increase the fleet. More focus is to get and more consumers and make more people habituated to electric mobility. I think that is our key motive, and BluSmart is doing great. From a scale-up perspective, we operate about 500 plus all-electric cars, which we are scaling up to 3,000 plus cars in the next 6 months. Now that COVID is behind us and a lot of mobility and a lot of travel has started, I think the only thing that we as a company have to focus on is to scale up. And we have a great, I think we should be able to do from 512 cars right now to about 3,000 cars by March end.
And how do they work? These are what fleets that you give on a on a B2B basis. Like, is it picked up by e-commerce vendors? Is it for ride sharing? How does it work?
So BluSmart is exclusively for ride hailing, and we have an app which is now we have more than 15,000 consumers who use us on a weekly basis in the Gurgaon and NCR area. We want to expand our coverage to complete NCR, and that will mean that we can service millions of more customers. Of course, the most important thing for that is to expand the charging network and the fleet that we have. Our fleets come in from various asset owners who deploy the fleet on the BluSmart platform, and charging stations now will be set up in partnership with Jio-BP.
And will you stay primarily as this, or there are plans to, maybe start selling? Because, what you've also started seeing is, for example, e-commerce companies saying they want to change their fleet from a Flipkart to an Amazon. That's got to be big bucks.
Our fundamental belief is that we want to be a B2C business. Consumer is where there is a lot of service level upgradation that needs to be done. Consumers need much better services with the ride hailing on the ride hailing front, and we want to solve that problem for our consumers. Although undeniably B2B business with Flipkart or Amazon is a great opportunity, but our focus is very sharp on the B2C part of the business and ensuring that that whatever loopholes are there on the ride hailing side, we go and plug them in.
Okay. Before I let you go, it is World EV Day. So let's talk a bit about that. There's been so much action in the past. Like I said, Flipkart, Amazon, the likes, for example, giving large orders, wanting to convert their fleet, make it more green. You have Ola, which is looking to disrupt the entire space with, if I could call it, with the kind of pricing it's doing with its scooter. You have Ather Energy, which has already come out with its bike. You have traditional automakers hedging their bets, investing in startups as well. Going forward, do you think a startup like yours and others will survive, or will the big boys come and take over?
I think a startup's best moat is its agility, and if a startup is always agile and open to opportunities, we will see that the startup will not just survive but will thrive. This is once in a century kind of a moment where complete infrastructure is going to get changed, and I think there is a huge opportunity and for startups and for large players. But it will depend on the agility, speed of execution of the startup, of how they go and capture market share in this market. Although competition is going to be stiff, but if you are agile, if you are always aware, I think you can scale up the mountain.
And on that note, I'd like to thank you, Anmol, for taking the time out, for joining us here. We look forward to many more interviews going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.